So following on from the last technique coaching video I did, I was really happy to see that a lot of people found it really useful and benefited from looking at the draw shoulder movement and how to improve this. Then I was thinking I should probably do another video on a slightly different technique area, but giving a similar sort of feedback to help people with a different area of the technique. And then lo and behold, this morning in my inbox, I got an email saying, can you help me with my technique? Can you have a look at these videos and give some feedback? And I'd really appreciate you having a look at this. So I'm really excited to have a look at the video first, and then I'll give some feedback on the technique and hopefully help you guys along the way too. So first of all, let's have a look at the video and then I'll get into the feedback. So the first thing here is that the technique is really quite good again, and this is really impressive. Again, following on from the previous archer in last week's video, the technique here is really good. I particularly like how you can see the archer, Dionik his name is, the archer, how he sets his aggression at the set position. Not aggression necessarily in a bad way, but the kind of intention of the shot at the set position is really good, and you can see he's focused on what he's doing and then goes into the shot. So I really like that. And let's go through another couple of the angles. Again here, another great thing is you can see how Dionik checks his draw fingers on the string visually. He's putting them on the string and really making sure they're in the correct position, and then he checks these visually, which is really good. You can't always do this if maybe you've got the bow on the foot, but when you've got the bow on the leg like that, it's really good to be able to check them visually and make sure that they're in the right position. So I really like that as well. So again, from this angle, you can see the T posture is decent, perhaps a tiny bit towards the target, but you can see particularly on release that the body is pretty still. There's not a lot of jerking or movement, and the archer is really stable and the core is engaged, so that's really nice as well. So I'm really happy about that. Now you can see in this next shot, there's an area here that could definitely do with some improvement, and that is on the draw shoulder side again. So this is similar to last week's video in that the draw shoulder is a bit high, and I actually asked Dionik if he has any clicking or clunking in his shoulder when he draws, because I can see from the video that it's a little bit high, and he said he does, and I can see from this video why that would be, and it's basically because at the time when he is opening, and then particularly when he's doing the setup and then drawing into full draw, the draw shoulder is quite high. So have a look out for this now in this next bit of the video. So you can see here, particularly the draw shoulder side, the draw shoulder is a little bit too high. The draw arm and the hand are up at a good level, but the shoulder is a little bit high towards the ear, and you can see the muscles of the neck here are particularly a little bit elevated and almost going towards the ear and the neck. So that's causing the clicking, and also it means that later in the shot it's a little bit harder to get the scapular movement nicely. So that's an area to improve. And again here you can see at this freeze frame that when Dionik comes into full draw, there's a little bit of bunching here. I'm exaggerating this, but there's a little bit of bunching, and that will make it a little bit harder to expand smoothly and keep an aggressive, smooth execution as well. The posture and the draw elbow alignment here are amazing. They're really good. So you can clearly see the posture of the whole shot, and this is what I was talking about earlier. The core is so nice and solid, and then the posture is really good too. The chest is good, and the shoulder position is good in terms of they're not curled over, or there's no arching of the back, and then the draw elbow line is amazing again. So this is really great. I wish I had I wish I had that kind of elbow alignment many years ago. I probably still don't have it quite that good, so that's really good to see. Yeah, and as I said before, that elbow alignment is amazing, and on release as well, you can see there's not a lot of body movement along the shooting line. There's not a lot of sway, so that's really great too. at this position here, there's a little bit of a high position of the draw shoulder here. This is where the height of the draw shoulder starts becoming affected in the shot. If at the set position it's a little bit high, then it's more likely to be high during the setup and then the draw. So you can see here the draw shoulder's a tiny bit high. So if you could just lower it a tiny bit here and make sure you feel the lower muscles of the back, and you're not tensing them, but you can just feel a little bit more relaxed around the neck and feel the direction through the elbow, then this can help keep the draw shoulder lower through more of the shot. So I don't know if you saw on that shot, there was a slight forward release there in terms of the release wasn't directly backwards and the aggression wasn't there. There was a little bit of a soft release, and this is a key area as well that we can see from the first angle of the video that I'll show you again now. Now, as you can see, the release is good. It's not away from the neck. There's no big hand movement away from the neck or anything, but it is a bit soft. It's lacking a little bit of aggression and power, and this is on both sides of the shot. So from this front angle, you can see this. The fingers, they've opened quite a bit. They're still fairly close to the neck, but they've opened quite a bit. And the aggression and the speed of the movement backwards on the release is quite slow, so that it's just not quite as aggressive as it could be, and this is going to make a really big difference to the overall grouping and score. So Dianik said he already shoots around about 325, 328, around about the 655 mark at a 70 meter 720, and you know, this is a really great score level already and a really good level to get to, but as you can see, this is from the great technique he already has, and he wants to improve this more. So the main thing here that's going to really help that is the release, and this is on both sides, the draw side and the bow side, and fixing the draw shoulder height is really going to help this. So have a look at the previous video for the draw shoulder height. Make sure when you're lifting that you're keeping some space here and you're not using the upper muscles, and then the next part to work on is the release. So we don't want the release as soft as it is now, and we want more aggression and more speed. So the way you want to do this is by changing your perception of what the normal speed of expansion and the normal aggression is in your shot. So let me explain that a bit more. So when Dianik comes in, when you come into full draw and expand, the aggression and the speed of your release is determined by how much you expand and your direction and aggression of your expansion. So as you come in here, I'll play this again. As you come in here, you can see that Dianik comes in and then almost the movement is good, but it just stops a little bit. There's no real aggression in terms of the expansion, and then this translates to a little bit of a soft release. In the same way, on the bow side, the bow is a little bit soft in terms of the roll and the direction towards the target, so we want to improve that. So the way you're really going to improve is by increasing the speed and aggression and the direction of the release on both sides of the shot. To do this, you need to improve the aggression on the draw side and the bow side. So with regards to the draw side, when you come into full draw at the moment, the shot is good and the structure is good, and you come in and you expand, it's a little bit too slow in terms of the speed, and then also the kind of size of the movement in terms of how big and aggressive the execution will be. So when you come in at the moment, it's almost like you come in and then you're moving and shoot, and it's kind of soft. Now this, as we said before, you already shoot 325, 655 level, which is good, but this level is determined by how aggressive you can execute now. If you can really improve this execution, you could shoot 340 plus, 680 plus by improving this aggressive execution. Make sure obviously to do the work I said on the draw shoulder side, but when you come into full draw, I want you to come in and feel that you're really pulling hard against your face during the expansion. Another way you can do this is by using a band around the bow and making sure that when you come in to expand, this will then make you expand more aggressively to get the same timing. So you just put an elastic band or a TheraBand around the limb and the string, and then you come in and shoot as normal, and then you have to really expand aggressively to get your arrow through the clicker and shoot. Then you take the band off after maybe a few arrows and do the same thing with your normal bow, and the difference is giving you some contrast. So this will then make you expand more aggressively with your normal bow and improve your release as well. So this is another really good way to improve this. Another great thing here that would really help with this release is using a shot trainer to do some shot trainer release drills. So I'll put an image up here of that drill, and you can find that on our website. But this is a really great deal, again, just to improve the aggression and the direction of the release. And this is a great drill to do this. Now, another thing you can do is when you're shooting, again at close blank boss to start with, and then try this at target face, is just to vary the speed of your expansion. So what I mean by that is, for an end, say you've got 6 arrows in an end, the first arrow, from the moment you touch your nose to when you release, count 2 seconds and make your expansion last 2 seconds. So you come in, 1, 2, shoot. The next arrow, do 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, shoot. And the next arrow, maybe do 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, shoot. And then go back to 3 seconds. Then go back to 2 seconds. Do that for the 6 arrows, and it's just deliberately changing the timing of your expansion can help you learn the expansion a lot more quicker, and basically increase your body's awareness of where you are in your expansion and how much you need to move. And this can then help you when you want to aggressively do your expansion too. So this is another really good way of doing this and improving the release. So yeah, from this angle, you can see that on that shot, the bow roll, and generally as well, the bow roll isn't aggressive enough and there's not enough direction. So we want to fix that. Now, the way we improve this is by learning to be a bit more aggressive with the direction on the bow side, and then controlling that as well. So when you're shooting next, I want you to focus, once you come into full draw and do the aggressive expansion I talked about, I want you to focus then as you're expanding through the clicker to make sure to direct and push the bow into the 10. You should feel like you're directing through the thumb, through the pressure point of the grip, and then through the thumb toward the 10, and then on release really pushing that into the 10, and then obviously my alignment's not very good here. I can't get into alignment on with this angle, but yeah, and then as you release, really not dropping the wrist, but almost pushing the bow forward and really practicing this. And a great drill to do with this is the double bow roll drill, and this can train also keeping the hand and the bow arm up whilst letting the bow roll and being a bit more aggressive with this. So this is a really great drill, and you want to increase this aggression a bit more and really direct into the target. So this, coupled with the release side, can really change your scores, and I think you can really shoot 340 plus definitely. Just work on these 2 areas really, and then with the draw shoulder side, and you'll be golden. So some other drills that would really benefit this archer are the arrow in the elbow drill and the arrow behind the elbow drill as well. And this would really make sure that the archer comes into full draw and then continues expanding and continues moving aggressively right from the get-go, and will help the feeling of that expansion. So these are 2 really good drills as well that can help that. And then also the release follow through and the release feeling drill. So just using your fingers coming up to full draw and just making sure that when you release, you keep the fingers tight rather than opening them and being a bit soft here, as the archer's doing at the moment. Practicing the feeling of really aggressively doing this with the fingers, and you can really control this with this drill. So it's a really great drill to do. And then you can also do the release feeling drill, which is just here, and making sure to feel the correct movement when you then move the fingers along the neck and move the release. So these are another few drills that will really be beneficial to use and could really help this part of the technique. So I hope that's been another useful video for you guys, and particularly on the release side, helped you identify some ways you can improve there. Be sure to let me know in the comments below as well. Don't forget what your favorite bow color is. I'm interested to see here because I'm very biased to the yellow. And as always, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can also catch us on social media, and I'll put the links to those below. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.